We're living in a new era of manifestation, not just vision boards, not just journaling, not just scripting under a full moon. Now people are manifesting with ChatGPT. They're asking AI to describe their dream life, build routines, write affirmations, generate success scripts, and they're getting it all in seconds. It feels like a spiritual cheat code. But here's the question no one's asking. Is this helping you grow or just helping you bypass? Because while AI can amplify clarity, it can also replace connection. The connection to your breath, the connection to your body, the connection to the subtle voice that says, this truth is mine, or this doesn't feel aligned. That's where Manifestation 4.0 begins. It's not about rejecting technology, it's about using it consciously. Not as a guru, not as an escape, but as a mirror, one that reflects what's alive inside you, not just what sounds good on a prompt. Because let's be honest, AI is brilliant at giving you a path, but only you can walk it. Only you can feel when something lands in your gut, or when it's just another pretty plan with no soul behind it. And if you're not careful, you'll start outsourcing your becoming. You'll let a machine define your healing timeline, your self-worth rituals, your identity shifts. It might look powerful, but it's empty if you're not present in it. The truth is, AI can enhance your manifestation practice, but only if you stay rooted in self-leadership. If not, it becomes spiritual entertainment, fast food for your growth, because you don't need another plan. You need to remember that clarity without embodiment is still just noise. That's why Manifestation 4.0 isn't about rejecting tools. It's about relating to them in a new way. It's about letting AI show you what's possible, without letting it take over your process. It's about using tech to support your truth, not to silence your intuition. It's about checking in with your nervous system before you chase another vision. Because when you blend clarity with consciousness, something radical happens. You stop asking, what's the best manifestation method? And you start asking, what am I actually willing to live? That's where real alignment begins, not in the code, but in your choices. So let's talk about how to use AI with your body, with your heart, with your truth. Because Manifestation 4.0 isn't synthetic, it's integrated. And it starts when you come back to you, before, during, and after the prompt. Let's start with something radical. AI is not the problem. Your relationship to it is. AI doesn't create dependency. You do. When you forget that technology is meant to support consciousness, not replace it. The moment you let AI become your guide instead of your tool, you've already left the path of embodied manifestation. Because manifestation at its root isn't about perfect plans, it's about energetic congruence. And here's the issue with relying too heavily on AI. You may get clarity, but if your body doesn't feel safe with the vision, your system won't follow through. That's why so many people get stuck after asking AI for their ideal life blueprint. They read it, they nod, they even feel a rush of inspiration. But a week later, nothing's changed. Why? Because your nervous system doesn't respond to plans, it responds to felt safety. And no prompt can generate that for you. So how do we shift from blind use to conscious use? Start here. Ask yourself not just what you want, but what you're actually ready to hold. Maybe AI gives you a millionaire morning routine, but your real growth begins when you realize that getting out of bed 10 minutes earlier is your current edge. That's embodiment. And it's not less than. It's true. It's sustainable. It's yours. This is what Manifestation 4.0 invites you into. Not more pressure, but more presence. Not bigger leaps, but deeper alignment. Because manifestation isn't just about thinking positively or visualizing harder. It's about who you are while you move through resistance. And resistance doesn't care how beautiful your ChatGPT plan looks. It cares whether you're present enough to respond to it without abandoning yourself. So use AI to map possibilities, but don't let it numb your self-awareness. Ask it to write your success vision, but then ask yourself, how does this feel in my chest? Am I inspired, or am I dissociating into a fantasy? Do I actually want this, or am I chasing it to avoid feeling inadequate? These questions bring you back to your body, and your body is where manifestation becomes real. Because every goal you have, freedom, wealth, love, confidence, requires nervous system capacity before it ever becomes your lived reality. That's the part AI can't touch. That's your job, and it's sacred. When you use AI from that place, from rooted self-leadership, then yes, it becomes powerful. It can mirror, it can organize, it can support your intention. But the spark, the power source, that's still you. You are the integration point between the vision and the vibration. And every time you pause to check in with yourself, instead of chasing the next dopamine hit, you reclaim that power. This is how you shift from manifestation as fantasy to manifestation as frequency, a daily embodied frequency of trust, of action, of capacity, of compassion. That's the mindset of Manifestation 4.0, and it begins with the question, am I using this tool or hiding behind it? Because tools don't transform people. Presence does, practice does, embodied repetition does. You don't need a smarter prompt. You need to trust your own rhythm, the one that knows when to rest, when to push, when to reflect, when to release. And when you honor that rhythm, suddenly the AI isn't your guide anymore. It's your assistant, your amplifier, not your authority. That's how you manifest with integrity, with your feet on the ground, with your truth in your breath, with your vision shaped not just by words, but by willingness. The willingness to live it, feel it, and become it. Not in theory, but in motion. And that motion, it's messy, it's non-linear, but it's yours. Let's make this real. What does it look like, on a daily level, to use AI consciously in your manifestation practice? It starts with a single principle. Every prompt must lead you back to your body. Because your body doesn't lie. It knows when you're overreaching. It knows when you're chasing someone else's dream. It knows when you're performing growth instead of living it. So when you open ChatGPT and ask for a dream morning routine, don't stop after reading it. Pause. Ask, which part of this lights me up and which part shuts me down? That's embodiment. That's discernment. That's conscious manifestation in real time. Because anyone can download another perfect plan. But only you can feel which part of that plan fits your nervous system's current capacity. Let's say AI gives you a vision that says, wake at 5 a.m. Meditate, journal, workout, cold plunge, visualize, read, create, all before 8 a.m. Sounds epic. But if your current nervous system baseline is just getting out of bed and not checking your phone for 10 minutes, then that's your breakthrough. That's the aligned edge. And here's the magic. When you honor that edge, you build trust with yourself. You prove you're not chasing fantasy. You're building a life you're actually capable of living. And from that place, manifestation accelerates. Not because it's louder, but because it's finally real. So use AI to explore, to dream, to stretch, but then return. Return to the body, to breathe, to small, honest motion. That's how you make AI work for your nervous system instead of against it. Let's go deeper. Manifestation 4.0 isn't just about what AI can do. It's about what it can't. It can't feel. It can't sense urgency versus avoidance. It can't track the emotional patterns behind your habits. It can't soothe your fear of failing again. It can't rewire shame. It can't heal. Only you can do that. But AI can help you notice. It can help you pattern track. It can give language to what you feel, but can't quite name. It can organize the chaos of 1,000 thoughts and give you clarity to meet the next breath. That's where AI shines, as a supportive mirror, not a master. But most people use it backwards. They ask AI to do the hard work of knowing, of deciding, of leading. That's not manifestation, that's outsourcing. And when you outsource your clarity, you delay your growth. Because clarity doesn't come from prompts. It comes from sitting still long enough to hear the wisdom beneath your anxiety. From choosing the next step, not because AI said it was optimal, but because you know it's honest. And that honesty, that's where your power lives. It's not in how fast you grow, it's in how rooted your growth feels. So when you start your day with an AI-generated intention, take 30 seconds to ask, does this feel like mine, or just something that sounds good? If it feels like performance, drop it. If it feels like pressure, simplify. If it feels like truth, breathe it in and walk it out. Because the only difference between manifestation and mental stimulation is movement. Not just physical movement, but emotional movement. The subtle shifts of I can't to I'm willing, of I don't know to I'll find out, of I'm stuck to I'm still here and I'm choosing again. That's not AI's job. That's yours. And the more you own it, the more powerful AI becomes, not as your crutch, but as your companion. A prompt won't save you, but a prompt paired with presence, that can change your life. Here's the shift that changes everything. You stop asking, what should I do? And you start asking, what truth wants to move through me right now? That's the essence of Manifestation 4.0. No longer relying on tools to tell you what's true, but using them to reflect what you already feel. Because when you start listening to yourself at that level, something profound happens. AI becomes a servant to your sovereignty, not the source of your strategy, not the author of your life. That's a radical distinction. Because most people don't realize they've made AI their authority. They think, if I just prompt it right, I'll find the plan that finally sticks. If I script the perfect affirmation, I'll finally believe it. If I get the language right, I'll finally feel ready. But what if readiness isn't found in the prompt? What if readiness is built by practicing presence before you even open your laptop? What if AI isn't meant to tell you who to become, but to show you how close you already are? This is where manifestation evolves, from projection to partnership. You're no longer asking AI to save you. You're inviting it to support the version of you that's already awakening. That's a subtle but sacred difference. It means you no longer use AI to escape uncertainty. You use it to translate your inner knowing into language you can work with. Let's ground that. Say you feel a deep urge to change careers, but you're overwhelmed, scattered, scared. You ask AI, help me build a career plan that aligns with my purpose. Useful? Absolutely. It'll give you steps, ideas, prompts. But before you take any of them, self-leadership asks you to pause and ask, do I even believe I deserve to do work I love? Is my body ready to hold the unknown that comes with change? What stories about safety and identity am I unconsciously protecting? Those are the questions that AI can't answer. But they are the source code behind whether your manifestation actually works. Because you don't manifest what you script. You manifest what you're energetically available for. And that availability doesn't come from information. It comes from integration. That's where the real inner work begins. Not in planning, but in presence. Not in prompting, but in practicing. Practicing staying in the conversation with your fears. Practicing moving with resistance, not against it. Practicing holding duality of hope and fear, of vision and doubt, and still choosing the next aligned action. That's self-trust. That's nervous system fluency. That's Manifestation 4.0. Not a performance, not a shortcut, not a productivity hack wrapped in spiritual language, but a relationship between your nervous system, your values, your awareness, and the supportive tools around you. Tools like AI are brilliant, but they are not you. You are the source, you are the filter, you are the guide. And when you reclaim that, you become unshakable. Not because you know everything, but because you finally know how to come back to yourself. That's how you build a future you can actually live in. Not just dream about, not just prompt into existence, but walk into with breath, with presence, with integrity. And AI, it walks beside you. Never ahead, never instead. Here's what most people miss. Manifestation doesn't happen when you know more. It happens when you integrate what you already know. That's why Manifestation 4.0 isn't about downloading the next mindset model. It's about feeling safe enough to act on your inner wisdom. And that safety? That's not theoretical. It's physiological. Your nervous system is always scanning. Is this version of life safe to receive? Is this next level of success familiar or threatening? Am I being asked to grow or perform? And here's the trap of relying too much on AI. It makes growth look linear. But your body doesn't evolve linearly. It moves in spirals, it loops. It learns slowly, then leaps suddenly. It resists before it expands. No prompt can capture that nuance. Only presence can. Only you can feel when a script aligns or when it's actually bypassing the messier, truer work. That's why conscious manifestation isn't about becoming more productive. It's about becoming more present with what's real. Real fear, real doubt, real desire, real trust. All of it belongs in the room. Because manifestation isn't just about calling things in. It's about staying available to what you called in once it arrives. So what does that mean practically? It means using AI as a co-creator, not a controller. It means asking, how does this idea land in my body? Where do I feel expansion? Where do I feel tightness? Can I move forward without needing to feel 100% ready? You don't need to script the perfect future. You need to meet your body where it is right now. Because that's where all future versions of you are born. From this moment, this breath, this choice. Manifestation 4.0 is about trusting that inner rhythm over outer templates. It's about knowing when to rest instead of push, when to pause instead of prompt, when to say that's a great plan, but it's not mine. That's emotional maturity, that's spiritual sovereignty, that's self-led evolution. And no, it won't always feel clear. You'll doubt yourself, you'll question the pace, you'll want to copy someone else's formula. But every time you return to your breath instead of your browser, you grow stronger. Every time you act from internal alignment instead of external hype, you build resilience. Every time you say yes to your version of progress, you make manifestation personal again. And when it's personal, it becomes powerful. Not performative, not pretty for Instagram, but real, relational, rooted. And in a world that's constantly selling shortcuts, your slowness becomes your superpower. Because you're not manifesting from the mind anymore. You're manifesting from capacity, from embodiment, from self-trust earned through quiet repetition. That's what Manifestation 4.0 is really about. Not AI as the hero, not you as the algorithm, but the sacred dance between tool and truth, between information and intuition, between tech and tenderness. And the longer you stay in that dance, the more fluent you become. You start to see AI doesn't give you the power. It reveals where your power already lives. And when you finally start trusting that, you stop chasing scripts. You start becoming the story. Here's where it all lands. You don't need AI to tell you what's possible. You already feel it, quietly, daily, in the tug of your desires, in the ache of your unmet dreams, in the whisper that says, there's more for you. But the question is never just, what do I want? It's, am I willing to live what I say I want? That's the final gate of manifestation. Not visualization, not scripting, not dreaming, but embodiment. And AI can't embody for you. It can't hold your breath during an uncomfortable conversation. It can't ground you when your old habits try to pull you back. It can't slow down your racing heart or soften your self-judgment. Only you can do that. Only you can live that. Only you can turn your clarity into courage. Because clarity is not transformation. Clarity is an invitation. Action is the reply. So take the insight AI gives you. Use it. Honor it. Let it support your expansion. But never confuse guidance with growth. Growth is internal. Growth is chosen. Growth is earned in the moments no prompt can predict. And when those moments come, and they will, you'll face a choice. Reach for another template. Or reach into breath, into honesty, into a slower, more truthful rhythm that says, I trust myself to walk this. That's the heartbeat of Manifestation 4.0. It's not shinier than the old way, it's just truer. Because it's not about outsourcing power. It's about remembering it's already here, in your body, in your choices, in your presence. And the more you practice meeting yourself there, the less you'll need perfect plans. The more you'll crave real movement. The more you'll notice AI is just a mirror. And you are the maker. You are the one who gets to pause, breathe, feel, and decide. Not from hype, not from fear, but from self-leadership that no algorithm can replace. So let AI play its role, let it serve, let it stretch your imagination, but come back home to the work only you can do. Living, feeling, becoming. This is manifestation, redefined, rooted, relational, real. And it begins, like it always has, not with a tool, not with a trend, but with a quiet decision. I am ready to become the one who lives this. Follow Think Fresh daily for more clarity that leads to action, not just inspiration.